All right. And I'm going to introduce our guest for today, even though she does not need any introduction. But she is the former Bellator Flyweight world champion with 4 title defenses. She has the most wins in the division's history and the most wins and stoppages amongst women in the Bellator Flyweight division. She holds the title of second most submission wins in Bellator since the inception of the promotion and was awarded her well-deserved Jiu-Jitsu black belt in 2023 by Richie Martinez from 10th Planet. She's a local legend. She's a true inspiration. She is Ilima-Lei Macfarlane. What's up?
Wow. I didn't even know half of the stats that you just read.
What?
I'm like, really? I hold the record for that?
Yes.
Cool.
You know, actually, for the submission one, it's you, Michael Chandler, and I forgot the third.
It's AJ McKee, I think. No. Well, there's like a 3-way tie, maybe like Goichi Yamuchi. I don't know. I just know there's a 3-way tie.
It's Michael Chandler, you, and someone else.
Yes.
You are the only ones that have the most submissions. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
It's cool to even be included with those names and to be the only female.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. And before we're going to start our session here at the Aloha Hour podcast, where Aloha talks and bullshit walks, we want to raise a toast. And we want to raise a toast for the one and only, for Max Holloway. How he said, blessed men forever.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's go.
BMF, baby.
BMF, baby. Cheers.
Cheers.
Ooh, you were right. Well, that's dangerous.
It is.
So good.
It's so tasty. And I actually, talking about Max Holloway, I saw you guys watching the fights in Cali, and you had the flag wrapped around your, and you guys went nuts.
Oh, it was incredible. And, you know, initially, Jason, my other half, he wanted to stay home and just order the fights. And I was like, you know what? If I'm going to spend $100 on fights, I want to make sure I'm, like, drinking and eating. I'd rather spend that $100. Let's go out. You know, we never go out and watch the fights. So, and I'm so happy we did, because it was such an amazing card. It was such an epic moment. And to be able to feel like we were representing, you know, Hawaii at that establishment, and everybody is just like seeing these Hawaiians losing their minds, and we're like running around with the flag.
Yes.
Totally worth it. I'm like, yeah, staying at home would have been fun, but like, I'm glad that we got to go out. And then it turned out that at the table next to us, there happened to be like a random girl that just moved up here from Hawaii. And so, yeah, when she saw us there, we're like, sister! And like, we're like hugging each other, jumping up and down. So it's just, it was cool that everybody was unified for that one moment. So thank you, Max.
Yeah, thank you, Max. And I think, you know, a lot of people mentioned it, and I think you mentioned it too. When Max wins, everybody wins, like Hawaii wins.
Yes.
And it's so true. I mean, everybody was going nuts at that moment.
The world, the whole world. Like, this is insane moment in sports history and combat sports history, just in world history. It's kind of reminds me of if I was around during Muhammad Ali's time. Like, this is one of those moments.
100%.
And this is what I like to call the point where we start defining people and comparing to Max Holloway. For instance, like when you say I'm the Michael Jordan of something. Well, no. Now you're the Max Holloway of something.
Yeah, baby.
I'm the Max Holloway of dishes, bitch. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But yeah.
I love the fact that he took the chance, because he already won. He was already, 5 rounds. It was 5-0.
Yeah.
But then putting himself in that position where he could get knocked out by a knockout artist that is a stand-up artist, like that's what he does, you know? And he fucking knocked him out a second to the end. It was like electrifying.
Yeah.
And it was crazy because I watched the fight at my friend's house, but everybody on the street was yelling. Everybody. It wasn't just our house, like, eh! It was everybody was yelling. So it feels like there was a something in the air where everybody felt connected. That's why I think it's right, you know? When he wins, all of us win, especially in this kind of way.
Yeah.
Bruh, it was insane. Insane. And just watching all those videos where everybody's like the reaction to the
I've been watching it nonstop for the last 72 hours. And even like Jason is just shaking his head like, how many times are you going to watch that thing? Because I'm just, it's so incredible. Like, yeah, seeing everybody's reactions.
Yeah.
Seeing people in Hawaii losing their minds, breaking chairs.
Yes,
I think my favorite one was the Tongan guys who were like flipping tables. And they're just doing it so effortlessly. And like one guy like blocks it with one arm, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, these Tongans are crazy. But yeah, it's my favorite thing to see. I have like all these videos saved in my phone of just everything to do with Max's knockout, all his interviews, his corner reactions. I don't know if you guys saw, but he posted his corners reactions today, and that was freaking awesome.
That was romantic, bro. Watching all the boys like just embrace and all that, like it's really beautiful.
Yeah, definitely. But you know, that reminds me actually of when you fought in Hawaii. I don't think it was your last fight at Bellator here. I think it was one before. And there's that song that everybody sang when you came out.
All Hawaii Stands Together? Or was it the chant?
It was a chant, I think.
Okay.
It was like a Hawaiian.
Yeah. So that was Bellator 1. So we've had 4 Bellator Hawaii cards. So that was the first one. And that was when I had the 4 guys come out, 4 of my kia'i, or like, you know, my protectors. And they were the ones that had done the chant. And it's Iku-Mau-Mau, which is, it's a known chant here in the islands. Yeah. And it's actually a responsive chant. So they lead the chant and the audience responds. But of course, this is not like rehearsed or anything. And so we weren't expecting the audience to do it, because we didn't say like, hey guys, we're going to do Iku-Mau-Mau, so make sure you guys do it. Yeah. And I remember my corners, this is their first time at a fight in Hawaii, and they're like waiting for me to walk out. And when they start Iku-Mau-Mau and the audience started doing it, my corners are like, whoa, what's going on right now? Oh, what is this? And so, yeah, that was incredible. That was super, super chicken skin moment. Chicken skin. I'm like backstage behind the curtain, like crying as soon as I hear it. And I'm just like, oh gosh, like, get your shit together, Ilima, you're going to walk out there. So yeah, and to this day, I still say that walkout, that moment was like the highlight of my career, for sure.
I just want to tell you, I was at the fight. I was first row. There was all the security guys actually sang. And they stood up. They didn't care about anything, and they all sang together. And you could feel the mana, you could feel the power, you could feel the energy. I'm just talking about, I get the chicken skin. It was one of the best moments. I never seen something like this before. When you have like thousands of people responding, thousands, not hundreds, but thousands of people actually responding, and that moment was insane.
That was awesome.
Crying kind.
Oh yeah, and I was crying. I was like, "Okay, Lima, you're about to walk out. Like, shut it down." And then I totally didn't, and I just cried all the way down to the cage. And then, I was still like, basically the tears stopped as soon as the bell rang. Then I was like, all right, I'm in this. And yeah, the finish after that was amazing. Like, thank God I won. You can't like have a walkout like that. I was like, good thing I won. Thank you. But yeah, that was again best night of my life. The highlight of my career.
Yeah, we all felt it for you. Like, we all felt part of you. Like when you said Mex won, or when we said Mex won, we won. We felt like when you won, all of us won. We all of us like were part of your journey, and in the cage. The energy was sensational, and we felt like we were part of it. So you blessed us with a gift that I personally will never ever forget in my life.
Awesome. That's amazing. That means so much to me, because I remember even telling Rob afterwards, Rob DeMello, in the interviews, he's like, what's next? And I'm like, dude, I I think I have to have a baby or something because I don't know what else could top this moment.
Word.
Like, and I think Max kind of said something similar in the sense he's like, I don't know what could top this moment. Like
Yeah.
this is the craziest
Crazy.
thing ever. But yeah, like I just love that finish for Max. Like he was already a legend in my eyes for sure. I already knew that he you know, like you said, a win for him is a win for all of us, and he represents Hawaii so well. And I really I just feel like he's gonna keep getting better, and he's gonna keep having these electrifying, unifying moments. And if you are not a Max fan, I think the only people that were upset about that knockout were people that voted, or sorry, not voted, betted on Gagey. And if you're not a Max fan, then you're definitely a hater.
Yeah. I think he proved it so many times, you know, that he's just the real deal. And somehow a lot of people doubted him. And, you know, I saw the comments before like, oh, Gagey gonna smack him. He gonna smash him. He gonna do... Bro, you don't understand the heart of this gentleman. They're gonna walk into this octagon. He has no fear at all. He was locked and loaded. He was like sharp. He was focused from the first second. It was just a joy to see him taking Gagey apart. Yeah, it was a joy. But let's talk a little bit about you.
Sure.
You know, doing my research, we came to the conclusion that you are a wrestler and a basketball player.
Yes.
What the heck?
I was a baller. Yeah. Wait till I bust on my 7th grade highlights. I legit have like a DVD that I've been meaning to find somebody to like make a highlight reel of me in middle school because I was a baller. Like basketball was my first sport. Literally since I came out of the womb, my dad was like training us to be basketball players. Like we'd do exercises with our legs, and like when I was 6, I started playing basketball, and my dad was my first coach. And as a 6-year-old playing in like for the Manoa League, I remember playing my first game, and we went home and we watched film as a freaking 6-year-old, and I'm just like, and I remember like being super into it. I was like, yeah, I can't wait, you know, to practice and like improve on that. And like I understood exactly what my dad was telling me when we watched the film. And so anyway, basketball was like my first love, the first sport that I ever played. And ultimately I had wanted to play basketball in college. My older sister Milia, she was actually the point guard for UH. She was like athlete of the year, basketball, volleyball phenom. And I was kind of like the prodigy. Like people said that I was gonna go play in college, and I really wanted to actually play in the WNBA. That was my dream. And then
I'm so happy you didn't go that route.
I am so happy. Yeah. So yes, and then it turns out like I started getting into wrestling when I was younger too. Like I was always a little tomboy, and
so you transitioned from basketball into wrestling?
Oh, I played basketball year round.
Okay.
Yeah. I played basketball year round. Got into soccer, volleyball, wrestling. So we were literally like year-round athletes. We would play in like all the outer leagues, and so anyway, when it was time to like choose, okay, what sports do you want to play for Punahou? Like when I could start competing for my school, then that's when I had to choose. So I chose basketball, wrestling, and volleyball. And then it was my freshman year that I tore my ACL wrestling. And from then on, I think my like sports career just like meh. Like here I was wanting to be a professional athlete, wanting to go to college and everything on a full ride for sports. And once I tore my ACL, this was back in 2005, so the technology wasn't like that great for ACL repairs. So I was out for a year. When I came back, I ended up re-tearing it, had to get another surgery.
Oh, shit.
So it was just like, all right, I kissed my dreams goodbye of ever doing any sports after high school. And I ended up focusing on wrestling because basketball, they changed the seasons for some reason. So now basketball and wrestling were the same season. And I had to choose. And honestly, it was just too hard for me to run and cut on my feet. So I was like, okay, I'll just do...
Wait, you want to tell me that wrestling was easier than basketball?
It was, because I ended up switching my stance for wrestling. So I put my bad knee behind me. So now I was like putting all my weight on my good leg, and I was just able to adapt. And I actually tell that to a lot of people that surprisingly it's easy to adapt with injuries when it comes to MMA, because it's like MMA is a very like full body, multiple everything sport, right? And so if you say I hurt my right arm, okay, I'm going to learn how to like throw a mean left hook or just like pump my jab. So, and that's what I had to do in several fights. Like, one fight, my knee is blown out. Okay, I'm going to switch my stance. Or, okay, I'm going to, not kick on that one, not put any weight on that one and try to go for the team, whatever's. So I just feel like you can adapt a little bit better when it comes to injuries for MMA versus like basketball. It's like, well, you can't play basketball if you can't run, or like, I don't know. So that was just how I felt.
I never thought about it that way, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like you would think like wrestling, like, if you have a fucking ACL injury, like, I'm out. Yeah. Let me play some basketball.
What position you played?
I was primarily a point guard, and then I would like switch to wing, but yeah, I was point guard. Oh shit. Yeah. And so, that was just like I had to kiss all of those dreams goodbye of playing basketball. But like I said, it happened for a reason, because had I like tried to focus on basketball, there's no way that I would have got into MMA, later on down the road. And before, when I mentioned that in the beginning about like, I have a story about Kamehameha actually. I had actually, so I'm born and raised Punahou girl, like, cheers. I'm born and raised Punahou, super proud, buff and blue, but I did have to apply to Kamehameha for 7th grade because my dad was retiring from Punahou. He was a teacher there, and so we wouldn't have received the, how like faculty can get some of their kids in for free. So we weren't going to receive that benefit anymore with his retirement.
So you had to pay the $30K.
Exactly. So we're like, okay, let's try it out for Kamehameha. And I remember, like, I got in. I got accepted, and my parents and we decided, like, okay, we're going to go to Kamehameha. And I was super blessed that the day that we were supposed to turn in our acceptance papers, Punahou was able to give me financial aid to stay. And then, after that, like 2 years later, I tear my ACL wrestling. So I always said, like, if I had gone to Kamehameha, I wouldn't have torn my ACL. I probably would have followed the trajectory towards basketball, and I wouldn't have got into MMA down the road. So along with the injury, with, staying at Punahou, everything in my life has led me to this moment, has led to that moment that you got to witness. It has led me, like, down this path, and it's just, I'm exactly where I need to be, thanks to all of those events.
That's crazy. Sometimes things happen to you and you're like, oh my God, I can't believe I tore my ACL, I didn't get, and then years later, you look back and you're like, oh shit, if I would have not had this, I would have got there, and and my whole outcome, my whole future would have been completely different. And I also believe that you are exactly where you should have been, because the history that you were able to write will forever be, noticed. But if you would be just one of the WNBA girls, like, whatever.
And honestly, I probably would have never made it either. I see the point guys and they're all like 6 feet tall. I'm just like, I would never have made it. But Yeah. It's just, and it's so funny because I remember when we did the MRI and we got the results back, and I'm sitting in the doctor's office, and they were like, "Yeah, you tore your ACL." I remember like when he walked out with my dad to go like talk to my dad about the next step, I like punched the wall, and I don't punch things ever. I've never been like that, and I don't know what came over me. I just freaking punched the wall, and I think that was like a precursor of like, oh, like you're gonna get into this down the road. But yeah, and like you said, it was written, that this is my path.
That's crazy. And then how did you transition suddenly to MMA?
So that was purely on accident. So like I said, after...
Nobody goes into MMA purely by accident.
So I think I'm definitely the exception when it comes to fighters. I always joke like, no, I'm the private school fighter that like never got into a fight before ever. But yeah, it was really on accident. So after high school, I moved to San Diego, where I currently reside. I attended San Diego State, and I partied crazy. Like SDSU, notorious party school. I put on maybe 30 pounds from, I used to wrestle in high school. I was like at 145 in high school. Got up to 170, 175 in college. And I ended up finishing my undergrad. So I got my bachelor's degree, and I was actually trying to become a teacher. That was what I wanted to do. I wanted to return back to my alma mater at Punahou and be a teacher. My dad was a teacher, my sisters are teachers. So that was the plan, and I ended up having basically the summer off in between before I went into grad school. And that summer, I was like, okay, I'm going to get into shape. So I ended up joining a CrossFit gym and an MMA gym. And I was just like, I'm just going to stick with whichever thing I like better. And yeah, I walked into the MMA gym. Literally the first person that greeted me there was this muscular lady named Liz Carmouche, who like scared the shit out of me. And come to find out, she was the first woman in the UFC. She just had her fight with Ronda Rousey. And anyway, this bitch is like signing me up. She's like trying to sign me up. And I'm like, oh my gosh, she's so scary. Like, okay, yeah, take my money here. Sure, I'll sign up. And yeah, the rest was pretty much history. Like, I just kept going back, and I totally sucked. Like, even though I had the wrestling foundation, wrestling skills don't mean shit if you're out of shape. And I was like, couldn't even, we were just stretching, and I was like, oh, like I couldn't even do anything. So anyway, that's basically how it started. And after a few months of like consistent training, then my coach was like, hey, do you want to do a smoker? Like, a smoker is like when the gym, they match you up with somebody from the gym. It's not like anything crazy. It's like 1 minute rounds. So
it's like an in-house tournament where you fight someone from the gym.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So I did 2 of those, and then he was like, well, do you want to try a fight on the local circuit? It'll be from, somebody from a different gym. I'm like, sure, we'll do a couple of those. So.
And that was MMA?
MMA.
Okay.
And this was all while I was in grad school. And then after I did like 5 of those, then Manolo was like, okay, well, we know that you're going to be a teacher or whatever you want to do next, but why don't you just do 1 pro fight? Just as a bucket list kind of thing, you can just say you turned pro. I'm just like, okay, cool. And I did the pro fight.
No fear, no, like, because when you talk about it, you're like, oh, they asked me for the fight. So I'm like, yeah, let's go pro, let's go to the fight. But come on, tell me about the fear. Tell me about, you'd never had like second, like you never, I don't know. I mean,
you're about to get punched in the face.
Yeah, it sounds crazy, right?
About to kick you in the
Yes.
face.
Like you're supposed to be like kind of hesitant, like.
And I think like I of course like I would get nervous and I would get scared with every fight, really. But I think it's because I I never meant, it was never my goal to compete or to be a fighter.
Yeah.
That I think that's what made it easier to like accept these. So I was just like,
Yeah,
sure,
makes
whatever.
sense.
And like, you know, I wanted to make my coach happy. I wanted to make everybody happy. And so I was just like, sure, fuck it, let's do it. And yeah, like I ended up turning pro, and it was on a super sketchy fight card that's like out on the res, not sanctioned at all, but you know, everybody goes to those fights. It's actually, to this day, it's like one of my favorite promotions to ever fight for, because it was so sketch. Like you can't even walk to the bathroom by yourself. Our team had a rule: you had to walk with a teammate because somebody could like shank you in the parking lot. But it was so much fun. There was always, every single fight card that they had, there was always a fight in the audience.
I
And
bet.
like, you know, we're pretty sure that they would pick people up out of the audience to like fight in the cage if like somebody dropped out. So anyway, favorite promotion so far. But they ended up, that fight went viral of me knocking out this lady that they dubbed as the soccer mom. And so it went viral, and Bellator ended up like at the same time they were like, hey, we want to start this women's flyweight division. Like, we haven't had one before. Do you think Ilima would be interested in this? And then that's how I got signed to Bellator. Ooh. And so a lot of eyes were on me for my debut with Bellator. And again, at the time, I was like, oh, I just want to do one fight with them. Like, that was just my little goal, was like, I just want to do one fight.
So still in your mind, you're going to be a teacher. This is just something like on the side. I'm just going to like for shits and giggles.
For shits and giggles. Purely for shits and giggles. And then after I won my Bellator debut, then I was like, oh, okay, cool. And then they're like, hey, we want to sign you for 2 more fights. And then like it just kept going more and more. And then, you know, like my 3rd fight with them, it was on a televised card. And then like the next fight was against, it was just it just kept slowly escalating until I'm fucking fighting for the belt. And I'm just like, how the fuck did I get here? And like, and I was still waiting tables at the time, you know, I was still like not fully committed to the life of a professional athlete and fighter. I was still, kind of just fucking around. And then, so that's why we call me the accidental champ. It was like purely by accident.
That's crazy, because you know, most of the people that become a champ, there's a certain commitment, there's a certain sacrifice, there's a certain, you know, you have to be dedicated, devoted, you have to like know, you know, you have to sleep, dream, fucking wake up, eat. You have to think about, I want to be a champion. But to be an accidental champion, you're a gifted lady.
You went straight bloodline on, man. Like, it's just in my bloodline. Like,
I can't help it.
Just so happened it's better than all you guys training. Like, sorry, you know, it's just natural for us.
No, but I also think that was like kind of like the demise of me as well as an athlete. Was like, I would always joke around like, oh, I'm a part-time professional athlete, because I would like, so I would basically tell everyone like, okay, it takes me about 3 months to prepare for a fight. You know, when it comes to like the weight cut and the training and everything, it's 3 months that I dedicate per fight, and I only fight twice a year. So that means like I'm only training half of the year, 6 months out of the year, and the rest of the 6 months I'm literally like gone. I disappear off the face of the earth. I normally would go and travel to a couple different countries, but I wouldn't be in the gym working again. And you know, as shitty as that sounds, like I also think that balance was also what made me successful, was that I did have that balance, because, you know, 1, I didn't get burnt out. 2, it just like made me want to come back. Like, I think I'm just wired differently from other athletes. Every athlete, what I've learned in this whole journey is that every person, their journey, their habits, everything is completely different. And so what works for some doesn't always work for others.
100%.
And that was kind of like how I was. I was like, dude, there's no way I could be in here like fucking year round. I know girls that are in the gym year round, and great, it works for them, but I just know that I can't do that. But like when I said like that was kind of what contributed to not my downfall, but just like the natural progression of my career. Like I feel like I've already peaked, And I'm very realistic. I'm very honest with myself. And I think, again, it's because, like, I never meant to be a fighter. But I'm very realistic with, like, my abilities and where I'm at in my career. And I'm like, oh, fuck that. I watch these bitches that are fighting now, and I'm like, hell no, I could never, like, go up against them now. Like, maybe, and I'm not even that old. Like, I'm 34. I know, you know, Liz is, like, fucking 40 and still kicking ass, but I'm just like, I just know that we're different and that I'm at the tail end of my career, and I'm totally okay with that. You know, maybe down the road, I would like to come back, possibly, you know, like, pull a Misha Tate and, like birth 2 kids at home and then come back. But, like, you know, I'm realistic, and I just know that right now, at the stage of my life I'm at now, I can't compete with those bitches.
Just please don't be a teacher. Just don't be a teacher.
I always say I can be a teacher, just in a different classroom. You know, I can be a teacher in
just
the gym. You know, something like that.
100%.
Well, that's a great mindset to have, I believe, as a fighter, considering that, like, a lot of fighters, they have to, you know, battle their own egos. And if you put in 110% and things just fall apart. I've seen, like, guys just completely fall apart mentally because you've done all of this, and then it's like, oh, it didn't work. You know, your own self-belief just goes out the window. And I've seen guys fall apart from that. You know, so to know that, like, you know, just I have fun with this, you know, it kind of keeps you at a light-headed.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
it was a great chapter of my life. It was a great experience. And again, I'm not saying that it's over by any means. But I just, you know, I'm in a different chapter of my life right now. And I think, too, I feel like I do stuff for, like, 10 years, and then I move on to the next thing. And I've kind of, like, reached the 10-year mark of when I joined the gym and, like, started training and everything. And I always said that I would rather be remembered for what I contributed to the world outside of the cage than what I did in the cage. And so I think, like, that's just what I'm doing right now. And would I like to fight again? Hell yeah. Like, I would definitely like to fight again. I just have to get healthy. I have to want it.
Yeah.
And I'm just having so much fun right now. Like, just, like, drinking on podcasts and doing whatever. And, like, watching Max knock people out. I'm just like, yeah. Like, I'm having a great time. So
perfect.
You know what? It's crazy because we had Angela Lee. You know Angela.
Yes,
yeah?
yes.
So we had Angela Lee on our podcast, and all her life was really dedicated. Her 2 brothers, her sister,
her whole family.
The whole family,
yeah.
The parents, like, it was, like, built in. It was, like, known, you know. She told us she was on the mats when she was, like, really, really young. It was, like, a natural progression to go into that sport, you know. And then suddenly hearing your story, it's so crazy. It's so contradicting to what Angela experienced in her journey of being super dedicated, knowing what she wants, knowing she wants to be a champion. The whole family is, the brothers, and then you, like, accidentally. It's insane to think that if you really want it, you can. You don't have to be all your life. You just have to change the mindset. And if the mindset is reaching that goal, it doesn't matter where you started. It matters where you end.
Yeah.
And that's very amazing to hear your story.
Yeah. And I think, like, how you mentioned, like, a lot of these fighters, their, like, whole identity and their whole lives revolve around being a fighter and the sport. And so, yeah, what happens, and you see this with, you know, across all different sports and professional athletes, is, like, that transition post-fight career. Like, what are they going to do now? And I so that's why I'm really grateful that I was the accidental champ. Like, because it honestly does make it easier for me to transition, and for me to not equate my self-worth with me still trying to fight and, you know, winning, losing, whatever's.
So part-time fighter, full-time Kanaka.
Yeah.
So,
yes,
right?
Exactly.
Like,
yeah.
Like, you know, you always down for the lohui. How were you like that since you were a little kid, or is that, like, in your family?
I think I definitely was like that. Honestly, as a result, well, okay, so I was also a hula dancer. So before we even started playing sports, we were dancing hula. And I totally credit hula with like basically my a lot of my athleticness and abilities came from hula, and just like body awareness, body control, discipline. Like, dude, when I think about it, hula practices were the most gnarliest because I was part of the competition group. So when we would prepare for Kiki Hula, we're like little 7-year-olds, you know, and we are going to like 4-hour practices a day doing freaking 100 back bends, like duck walks. Like, it was crazy. And so honestly, I was like, oh, that hula practice was way more gnarlier than like wrestling practice or anything I've done. But I always credit those lessons to like, laying down the foundation for my sports. And so anyway, that's kind of like my first introduction to my Hawaiian identity and my culture. And I think like what made it really strong too, honestly, was like being at Punahou. Because there weren't a lot of Hawaiians at Punahou. I was one of the few. So I think that made me even more proud and even more like, yeah, I'm Hawaiian, you know, and like, so I think that definitely helped. And then, I got pretty activist, like with the advent of social media and everything. And actually, when I started fighting and I saw that I did have a platform, like for some reason, people like really like fighters. I really don't know why, but they think fighters are like super cool. Fighters have a lot of followers, and it's just like I never understood it, but that gave me, my fight career gave me a platform. And so I was like, okay, like people want to listen to what I have to say or what I think. And so that's kind of like how, it kind of took off from there. And something too that I appreciate is that a lot of my followers are not from Hawaii also. And a lot of my followers, like, they don't know what's going on. And so when I say on my Instagram page, like, when I say on my Instagram page, like, when I address the issues that are going on in Hawaii, a lot of people are like, wow, I had no idea. Yeah. Okay, like, you know, we have a trip planned, like, and they're having anxiety and they're messaging me and they're like, what should we do? Like, and so I give them a list of like, okay, these are the businesses, try to support, you know, these are all Kanaka owned, or like, you know, don't stay at an Airbnb unless you can verify that it is Kanaka owned. Like, I just like give them all these traveling tips. And so, I think that's kind of where it really took off, was like once I started fighting.
Mm-hmm. I think that's beautiful though, that you use your platform for the good. There's a lot of fighters that use the platform to promote themselves and brands and liquor and whatever, just to make money. But you chose a different path. You chose that I fight, you follow me, you like what I do, now listen to what I have to say. Yeah. And what I have to say is genuine, is real, and it's about my hometown. Whether it's Maui, Big Island, Oahu, whatever it is, it's Hawaii. And, you know, you sharing about Hawaii and you putting Hawaii out there means a lot. It means a lot. It means a lot to people that live here, because we see you fighting for us. We see you putting us on the map. We see you taking our issues and putting it out there on the mainland or wherever your followers are from. You know, it makes it more special, and we feel like you care about us, you know. And every time there's someone that is famous that cares about his hometown, immediately we're like, look up to you. We're like, fuck, she's the real deal, you know. Because you could have been like, hey, buy this. This is blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? And
Body
like,
by myself.
Waiakea water. But I do love Waiakea. They do a lot for the community. And, you know, I actually, it was funny because when I did do some work with them, I straight up called them out. I was like, okay, so like, who are the owners? You know, what do you guys do? Are you guys supporting the Hawaiian community? You guys are using a Hawaiian name. And they were amazing. They were very transparent. And you know, they told me the programs that they do for community outreach and everything. And so after I did the whole like digging, then I was like, all right, I can fuck with you guys.
All right.
Yeah, no, they're awesome.
But that, you see, that's exactly what I'm talking about. You know, like, you know, for me in this day and age, transparency, being genuine, honesty goes a long way. This is what matters, because we have so much fake everywhere. So when you have something real and you're one of the realest, it means a lot. And it means a lot to us, the people that live here, you know, that you taking. I also remember during COVID and the whole thing with the Big Island. And you know, I think you went there or you posted about it.
Yeah.
And no, that was Maui with the fires.
Well, there was actually another fire out in the Big Island during COVID, and it was on the Hawaiian homestead. Okay. And so I actually, I don't know if you're talking about that time, but I had gone to Big Island with PJ. And we did like seminars around the island and donated money to those that were impacted by those fires. So we were able to help like replace their water lines that had been burned, and like, so that was.
I was talking about Mauna Kea.
Oh yeah, Mauna Kea too.
Mauna Kea.
I saw you took it, and also when you fought at Bellator, the whole video and like, that was.
Yeah, and like, I just wanted to just make sure that everything that I was doing was impactful in a positive way, or like, you know, even if it was an uncomfortable way, even if it was like confronting people with the reality of like what's going on back in the islands, like, then I was satisfied. Like I did my part. And like during the whole Mauna Kea thing too, I was like grappling with the question of like, okay, am I doing enough, or am I even doing the right thing, or like, should I move back home? You know, what am I doing up here in San Diego? And I remember, you know, kind of like learning. I was receiving feedback from like people that I really admire and respect in the Lahui, and like one of them had brought up kulana, which means role. Like, what is your role, and like, where is your role best served, like in what way, in what capacity? And basically it concluded that like, I do have to stay up in the continent. I have to stay in San Diego, because like, that is where my role as a fighter is. But because if I wasn't a fighter, then I wouldn't have this platform to like represent these issues and to represent my lahui. So like, so after that I was like, okay, yeah, my role is this until the next chapter, or until the next kahea is made, and you know, I feel called to come back home. I know that my kulana, or my role, was fulfilled up in San Diego before coming home to fulfill whatever role I need to.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, for all of us, you taken, and also the video that you made when you walked out on your Bellator fight, you put the video of Mauna Kea, and you all came out with the triangle, and I mean, you could have chosen to make it about yourself, but you made it about us, about Hawaii, and that means a lot. I mean, that for me, it says a lot about who you are and where you put your values. You know, that's why I was personally offended when the thing that happened on Maui with the money and
yeah.
I felt offended. Yeah. I felt like, you guys are fucking, you
assholes.
Suck. You suck.
You just suck.
You suck.
Well, that's where the crab in a bucket comes in, huh?
Oh gosh, and I don't even know if it's crab in a bucket syndrome. I think it's just like fucking stupidity.
Yeah,
like people can just not discern like facts or do their own research. They just like look at a fucking stupid viral anonymous Instagram page and they're just like, oh, whatever this page says, like, oh, that must be true, like without any kind of like real reasoning. Or like anybody that came to me, even though I was in the thick of camp, I am busy as fuck, like literally trying to answer all messages from like people who needed help, like families who were requesting help and all. Like if anybody came to me and had questions about the fundraiser, then I would answer them, and then they'd be like, oh, okay. So like what we read on this page is false. And I'm like, 100%. Like, why are you guys going to believe these motherfuckers? Like, you guys don't even know who runs this page.
But let me tell you more than that. You already proved your sincerity. You already proved you're genuine. You already proved you're transparent. You already proved that you care. Why would you why would people even think the other way around?
It's like, maybe if I had a track record of being like a criminal or like embezzling money, then like, it makes sense that you guys are haters. But like, it was wild. It was like the shittiest experience of my life, because I'm like, and I told people, like, look, I don't care if you guys talk shit about my fighting ability or if you guys talk shit about my looks or whatever. Talk shit about any of that, I don't give a fuck. But the minute you guys attack my character, which I know is like pono, the minute you guys attack that, like, that's when I'm like, all right, it's fucking going on. The gloves are off. Like, But I
remember at that time I was like fucking with people like on Instagram, like, shut up, you have no idea, you know, answering people, you know, like, because it really bothered me, because it's like unjust. It's not okay. It's not okay. Someone that fights for the community on a continuous basis for years, and then they get stabbed in the back for what? For clout? For having a little bit of a...
What's the shittiest part too is like, those are the people that are not even suffering. Those are not people from Maui who have lost everything. These are people who are comfortable in their fucking apartment in Makiki. While there's people out there who are actually having a tough time. Like, you know, I agree. That's very disheartening.
And it's like people could not understand. They're like, well, you need to provide receipts. And I'm like, okay, okay, you know what? Technically, even though we technically are not supposed to until the annual report of next year or whatever, like, you know what, I'm just going to, for transparency purposes, I'm going to provide you guys ghetto ass receipts, because I don't have an admin team. Like, that's what I wanted people to realize, was like, I'm literally doing this by myself. I don't have an admin team. Everybody that had ever done anything for my nonprofit was all volunteer. Like, we're a tiny ass little nonprofit. And so I was like, dude, I started this nonprofit to teach self-defense seminars. Like, you know, like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. So anyway, like, I was like, okay, I'm gonna provide to you guys super ghetto receipts that have like the names blacked out, because we legally cannot share the names of the families that we donated to. And people just could not understand that. They're like, well, why not? And I was like, because we're protecting their privacy. They're like, well, why? I'm like, okay, logically, what happens if somebody sees that this family got a donation? Like, that could put them in danger. Somebody could go and try to, like, I don't know, like, go fucking harass them or, like, try to steal money from them. Like, we need to, and it has sensitive information on there, like, their addresses, their contact. Like, we cannot share that. Like, how do people not understand this? Yeah,
see, and that's unfortunate that you have to be the front line of that, too. You know what I mean? Like, Jesus Christ.
Oh my gosh. I thought that I might dabble in politics potentially until that shit happened, until Maui happened, and then I was like, oh fuck no, I'm never doing politics. Like, I just cannot open myself up to that kind of like harassment and attacks, and I was just like, no, I don't want to shave any more years of my life off. Like, it was crazy. And people were like, if you could do anything differently, what would you do? And I was like, honestly, I wouldn't have even done that shit, because like, it was just so bad. And
it sucks, because the benefit was, I'm sure everything went out and everybody has been helped on that end, you know, like, and that sucks because they wouldn't have gotten help.
And that's what people need to realize, is that because they are perpetuating this negativity and this narrative, it's blocking the help. Like, okay, you know, however you guys feel about Oprah and The Rock, you know, I have my own reservations about them too, but all the lashback that they received, like, they're like, okay, fine, we won't do anything. Like, my bad for donating $10 million, like, of our own money to you guys. Like, we won't do it again, you know? And so I just, like, I wish people would realize that. And don't get me wrong, I know that you
Don't put yourself with The Rock and Oprah in the same bucket. I'm sorry.
I know.
I'm sorry. Don't put yourself with them in the same bucket, because you already proved, and you already did, and you already gave, and you already fought, and you're not with them in the same bucket. With all due respect to The Rock and Oprah, shout out to Oprah and The Rock, you're not in the same bucket, because you already proved that you are for the community. And you know, just following what you were saying, the fact that they discouraged her to go into politics, it's a loss for me, you, Jason, and Brad, everybody in this town and on the islands. This is our loss, because they discouraged you to go.
I'm just laughing at Jason in the background, because I'm like, actually, I think it's a benefit to him.
Yeah, Jason is happy.
He would have had to deal with me behind closed doors, being stressed.
No, but you know what I mean? Like, for us, it's like, you just discourage the one person that we know has only good intentions and would have our back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because we need people like yourself to fight for us. You know, nobody gonna listen to me. Nobody gonna listen to my friends. They're gonna listen to you. But if you're not gonna go for it and you're not gonna fight for us, we're just gonna get a career politician that's just trying to make a buck, you know, and helps 10% and pockets 90%. That's not what we need. In Hawaii, we need someone that is pocket 10% or none, but gives 90%. And here it's always the other way around. So, you know, it pisses me off that they discouraged you, and I want to apologize in the name of the community that, you know, that discouraged you, and I'm sorry for that, because it shouldn't have happened. It shouldn't have happened, and fuck you, all you motherfuckers.
Also, fuck you guys.
No, word.
No, and like it, you know, I want to reiterate too that like every single penny of the Instagram fundraiser, the 2.6 million, the one that went viral, the one that started all of this shit, it all went out to the families, directly to the families' accounts. I didn't take a single fucking admin penny, nothing. Like, again, this was all volunteer. This was, again, during full swing of camp against, like, I would say arguably this was the biggest fight of my career. It was against Liz. Like, you don't fuck around and do like a half-ass camp for somebody like
Which,
Liz.
just to reference, Liz is the person that signed her into the gym 10 years prior or whatever.
Yeah, and she was like one of my best friends, one of my main training partners until she went to a different gym. And so like this was such a full circle fight, and this could have been like such an amazing experience for me, because this was always the fight that I wanted. Even before Liz came to Bellator, people were like, okay, what's your dream fight? I'm like, Liz, yep, let's do it, you know? And so like the fact that all of this shit happened during the camp, during fight week, like literally the day of the fight, you know, I was going through shit. And so I'm just like, dude, that sucks, because my last, and that's why I don't want to retire. That's why I want to have another fight, because I cannot have my last memories of my fight career be that fucking shitty ass camp and fight week. And like, I don't even care that I lost to Liz. You know, I don't care that she blew my ACL out, bitch. But but I don't even care about any of that. I just did not enjoy a single minute of anything. Yeah. And I remember even sitting on the shuttle going to the arena in San Diego. The sun was setting. We were staying on the water. And, you know, we're driving along the water, the sun's setting. And I'm just like, Ilima, you should be fucking pumped right now that, like, this is where you get to fight. This is where you call home right now. And, like, you get to fucking fight against, like, this is amazing for Bellator 300 with a promotion you love. Like, you should be so happy right now. And I just remember just, like, fuck this. Like, fuck everything. I didn't even take any pictures that whole fight week. Didn't take any pictures with my corner. Like, I have 0 pictures with my cornermen. And I'm just like, I can't let this be the end. You know, I need to come back. I need to like, again, I don't even care if I win or lose. I just want to be happy and like enjoy fighting.
Yeah. Well, once again, I want to reiterate that we apologize that you had to carry that weight into your most important fight of your career, that you had to deal with unappreciative, ungrateful people that don't understand and are addicted to conspiracies. I'm sorry.
It's all good. And you know what? The silver lining to everything was that it forced me. So I used to be like one of those Instagrammers that would like post shit every single day. Like I was all over it. And this honestly forced me to like turn off the phone, take a step back. Just even like I unfollowed pages that would incite drama. And like now on my feed, on my Explorer feed, it's just dogs. It's just dogs and like feel good news.
Rainbows.
It's just like, and I'm just like, wow, what a change if you just like unfollowed all of these shitty pages. And honestly, the most that I've been on, because I feel like you open yourself up to criticism and shit talkers whenever you like post on any other page, like viral pages or whatever. But I have not posted a lot. But thanks to Max's knockout, I'm like on every single page, like, yeah, Max, Hawaiian pride, yeah. And so thanks, Max, for that. But yeah, I think that was like the silver lining to everything. Despite me saying I'm never going to get into politics, I'm never doing this shit again. A lot of nonprofits that I talk to, they're like, yeah, that's what we said 20 years ago too. And like we're still going. I was like, yeah, that's probably going to be my story as well. It's just, I know that it's just a little phase and I'm going to get through it. I'm going to be stronger for it. And yeah, I'm going to look at the positives that did come out of this really shitty ass experience. And I'm actually going to fly to Maui, not tomorrow, but the day after. I'm going to go visit Lahaina and go distribute like a couple more checks. So yeah, I'm excited to see all of my friends and some of the families that we were able to help out, that Instagram was able to help out. It's wild that Instagram can be such a tool of destruction and shittiness, but it could also be a tool of good and it can benefit the world. And that's like a message that I try to spread and reiterate with people, is that like, dude, it's a tool and it's up to you whether or not you want to let it be for good or be for bad.
Yeah. It's a natural human psyche thing called negativity bias. That's why it's so a wildfire to have drama. As humans, we're naturally geared to recognize negativity as instinct from back in the day. It's like, for instance, like you're walking in a forest, you see a lion, right? What are you gonna do? You're gonna
It's a threat.
Yeah, you're gonna run. You're gonna fucking fight it. You're gonna stand still. Like, you instantly think of the worst. That's why your instinct is to get away from it. That still sits in us today. That's why negative videos or any kind of dramatic vibe spreads like wildfire more than the positive things you do.
For sure.
You know what I mean? Like, you remember Run This Couch Guy? You know Run This Couch Guy? You hit me up, yeah? And you're saying, so we put a music video about it. People are like, oh, you guys gotta give the guy money, you royalties, blah, 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 the whole nine. So I don't know what the issue is, but I end up talking to one of his friends. The friend we talk story, find out what's going on. The friend starts a fundraiser. I help with the fundraiser. We send a whole box of great things to this guy. But nobody cares about the good stuff, you know what I mean, right? They just want to talk shit. So like, I think that's the shitty part about social media. Like, no matter what good you do, nobody's gonna want to see it.
Oh,
because it doesn't spark that natural drama in you,
Yeah. And yeah, I just remember somebody sending me this kind of like a poem or like a saying, and it was just like, when people talk shit or when people hate on you, like, do good anyway. And like it just kept saying like, do good anyway. Do good anyway. And I'm just like, you know what? Yeah, fuck it. Like, no good deed goes unpunished.
Yeah.
But do good anyway, because I'm not gonna sink to the same level as these haters, and like it's just gonna make me feel shitty. And I'm just gonna be positive, and I'm gonna like post positive comments. unless I need to call somebody out, I'm going to do it in an educational and respectful way, because a lot of people are just ignorant and they don't know. And so I feel like having that respectful dialogue is way more, it's better than just going in there all fire and attacking them, because like your delivery matters. And I've had so much good conversations and good dialogue with people who ended up like not being trolls. They were literally just ignorant.
So what's dream Hawaii in your eyes? Like,
I think dream Hawaii, my perfect Hawaii is for all Native Hawaiians to be healthy and happy, and if they choose to have a home or a shelter over their head, they can do that easily. So that's my dream Hawaii. And also our kama'aina, like the fabric of the Hawaii that I know was made up by people from all around the world, and I am a product of that mass immigration as well. My great grandpa came from Korea and he was a plantation worker on Maui. So I'm not against outsiders at all, but I think that we need to focus first and foremost on Native Hawaiians and to let them live the life that they want to, whether that's a subsistence lifestyle, whether that is, in more of an urban setting. Like, I think we need to focus on Native Hawaiians and those who have ancestral ties to the land. So that's my ideal Hawaii.
I love what you just said. I mean, that matters, And also, when I moved to Hawaii 17 years ago, someone told me, live aloha or leave. And I love it. Until this day, I use it. Like, you want to come here? Live aloha. Be good, do good, and leave this place better than you found it. If you're not in that state of mind, get the fuck out. Go back to fucking Cincinnati. Go to fucking Michigan. I don't know where you come from, but go back. If you want to do good, if you want to be respectful, we have a place for you.
And be an ally. Like, it's not just enough to like be cool with people and like, it's like you have to be an ally to Native Hawaiians and to kama'aina. Again, I think that we do need outsiders, to some extent. Like, they're outsiders. We do need like, people who don't have ancestral ties to the land, because that was what our monarchy and our ali'i of old, like, they totally believed. And like, same with like, we believe in like going abroad and learning and then returning back home, like taking what you learned outside. Like, they were very, very progressive and forward thinkers, our kupuna. And so again, I'm not opposed to outsiders to Hawaii, but you need to be an ally. And like, how are you going to be contributing positively to Native Hawaiians?
There is a saying that I think should add on to your list. I really like no Hawaiians, no aloha, because they are the original stewards of the land. They the reason we have this vibe and this way of lifestyle, it all originates from Hawaiian culture. Had that not been here, had it not been for them showing love to the land and welcoming, it wouldn't have existed. It would start to be like Southern hospitality. Just be kind. But that's different than aloha. Aloha is a whole different energy.
I mean, you can be cool. Like, here, like I use this example a lot. That like, all right, we have like the hippies who come down here and they think like, oh, like Mother Aina called me here, and they're like fucking down in Puna. I don't know. The Ho'oponopono. Yes. We have Ho'oponopono people here, and while, I'm sure they mean well, and, they are like, oh, like, well, we love everything. Like, they're not allies. Like, what? And they're also, like, I mean, they're so problematic for so many reasons, but, like you said, it's not just enough to just, like, be nice and to be kind, and like, no, it's way, way, way deeper than that.
So you sure you don't like politics?
Oh gosh. I don't know, man. Like, well, first I have to be a resident, because I don't even live here yet. But I do know that like the day's gonna come when I do come home.
But you get Halea.
Yeah. So I've been up in San Diego for 15 years now, and I'm like, I kind of want to come back in the next 3 years because I'm like, I can't say that like, oh, I've been up in San Diego for more than half my life. It's no, I need to come back before the 18-year mark because then I can be like, okay, no. Majority of my life I live in Hawaii. So that's the plan.
What keeps you stuck over there? Is it the gym?
Yes and no. So like, honestly, I felt like I was ready to come home. And then I met this guy over here sitting in the corner. And I met my big
Jason,
boy,
the sensation.
my local boy, after dating all these haole boys. And like, I finally meet my dream local boy. And then he's all stoked like to move up to California. And then now he loves it up there. And he's like, hell no, we're not going back. And I'm like,
Wait, Jason, you Hawaiian too?
someone.
I mean, I spent,
But he was raised Hawaiian. Yeah.
Right on.
He was raised in Kona. And, but yeah, so, I mean, it's kind of up to him when to come home.
Oh, no pressure.
Oh, no pressure.
No pressure.
No pressure.
Bro, I know this spot that you can sing at every week, bro.
You know it. You know it.
I don't know. And honestly, I honestly feel like we could do dual residency because we come home so frequently that like I feel like we could do both. And you know, I know a lot of people. I know several people that actually do that. Although they don't do it back and forth between California and here, they go to like Nevada or something like where the taxes don't freaking suck. So, but yeah, I feel like we could do something like that. Or, you know, maybe like come home during legislation. I don't know. I'm like watching from afar, like everything that's going on now during the legislation period. And I'm just like, oh gosh,
It's ugly, yeah.
It's so ugly.
It's ugly.
And I just am like, okay, you know, I try to convince myself that like, if you really want to enact true change, it has to be from the bottom. It has to be from like the grassroots effort, and that's where my nonprofit comes in. And so I'm like, no, I think, you know, nothing's gonna get done if you try to like do it politically. But I need to learn more, and that's another reason why I'm like, I don't think I'm ready for politics because like I don't know shit. You know, I want to learn more. I want to be better. You know, so who knows? Maybe if I come home and work as an aide or something, just so I can like at least learn or maybe go back to school and like study poli-sci. I don't know.
Well, let me tell you one thing. You don't need to learn to love. The most important thing is to have a heart. And your heart is in the right place. And for me, I actually look at the half glass full. I look at Andrea Topola, which we had on the show. I look at Augie Tulba, which we had on the show. I look at Brenton Ava, which we had on the show. Cedric Gates, which we had on the show. Those guys inspire me. I talk about them, I get the chicken skin because I feel they care about us. I think they're trying to make a change for us. And it takes people like them and like yourself to change it. You don't need to know nothing. You just need to know where your heart is.
Yeah.
And if your heart is in the right place, you will make a change, and people vote for you, and people will follow you because they know your heart is in the right place. You know, I think, and I mentioned it twice already on the podcast. I think one of the main reasons why BJ Penn didn't get elected is because he was too hardcore. He was too out
really,
there.
you think that's why he didn't get elected?
I mean, you know, telling telling everybody that he gonna fire them. You know,
I'm gonna get rid of TSA. My first day on the job, brought TSA is a federal.
Telling everybody at the health whatever, and I fire you. I mean, you create antagonism, and then you cannot win. You need to win with heart, not by hate, not by bad
riling people up.
Yeah. You need to win by I want to do good.
I think that's like his new campaign style. Yeah. Well, just from like what I've seen from afar, it seems a lot more like mellow and like taken down a couple notches. So I think that will benefit him
For sure.
In this next
sure.
election.
But you know what? It's also very important that when you go and you're trying to be elected, you don't need to know much.
Clearly.
But
Yeah. Well, I just
But-
want to be qualified so I can serve people better.
but if you already talking stats and if you're already talking numbers, have your fucking stats. You know, you're like, you need to know your stats. You
Yeah.
need to know your numbers if you already mention it. If you don't want to mention it, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Just lead with love. Lead with your heart. But if you're already mentioning it, then you have to have all your ducks in a row. You cannot just be like throwing it out there and then cannot back it up.
Exactly. Yeah.
You're young, bro. Live your life first a little bit. You're young. You know what I mean?
I know.
You can jump into a big fight, and I'm like, oh man, you just live your life up a little bit. You talked about you want to have some kids, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've been trying. We've been trying.
Yeah, have some children first.
Yo, just so you know, I heard espresso before. Get the
Really?
sperm. Yeah, gets the sperm.
I don't know.
I
Says
thought
the guy
you were
who owns
supposed to
Hawaii.
drink less caffeine.
No, bruh. Let me tell you, double espresso.
How many kids do you have?
Two
Okay.
daughters. Beautiful, bruh. I'm telling you straight up, bruh. Double espresso before you go in, bruh.
Well, speaking of espresso, so our boy PJ Barch, one of my favorite humans in the world.
Shout out to PJ Barch.
Shout out to PJ.
We love you. Had a
up,
great
Panther?
time. We're waiting for you to come back to Hawaii. Had the best time with you. Had the best training with you. Love you, my brother.
Yeah, PJ is one of my closest friends, and we were talking.
Did you tell him that you're gonna come on the show?
Yeah.
Okay.
So when I told him that, he's like, hey, so you know that the spot, I don't know if you've ever been to his gym in San Diego yet, but he has a super sick spot. It's
Yeah.
actually like kind of like a basement underground
Yeah,
gym,
yeah.
the Panthers Den. And the space above them is their lease is up pretty soon.
Yeah.
And it's like I think it used to be not really a venue, but I guess like a cafe style where they would have like live music or whatever. And he's like, how would you feel about opening a coffee shop up there? And I was like, oh, what are you thinking? He's like, like aroma coffee kind. And I was like, you know what? If John was down, I think I would be down too.
I told him straight up that I think, at that specific spot, we would open the gallery so we could have live entertainment and coffee and art and promote the local artists and have like a full circle. And I did make a presentation. I sent it to him, and we've been talking about it. I said I'm going to come up there in May to San Diego because Andrew Schultz is performing on in San Diego on May 10th.
Let's go.
So I said,
Shoot, we're going to be in Big Island for a
nah.
wedding. We're going to be in Big Island for a wedding.
Okay.
But go see his spot.
Yeah.
Because
And you know what? My boy Kynan Duarte, I trained with multiple times, he goes there on Wednesdays. They have like a secret training.
Yep.
And he sent
that
me a
they
picture.
can't post about,
Yeah,
'cause,
they can't post about it, but he sent me a picture of both of them together, like, eh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah, so I'm like, I used to be in the service industry, like, my whole life, even up through my fight career. Like, it wasn't until I was pretty much about to fight for the belt that I stopped in the service industry. So anyway, I just like, I love that. I love customer service. I have business experience with running the other 10th Planet schools up in San Diego. And then when when PJ was like, like live music, and I'm like, oh my gosh, Jason can like be in charge of all of that. We have the sound system, we have all the gear, we have the contacts, and one thing that I love about Jason is that he really does pride himself in his craft and in other people, like, I don't want to say real musicians, but good quality musicians.
Yeah.
A lot of times we see like the industry getting watered down, and like it kind of sucks that like all these places that used to have really good music, now they're like hiring motherfuckers off the street for like, play for free and like play for tips, and then it just like it kind of it just fucks up the quality of music.
One thing that we are very, very proud of at the Gallery Waikiki is that we it's almost like a collective place where we share the profits with the artists. So everybody that performs gets 15% of the bar. So they you know, we promote, we bring people, but they promote and they perform and they get 15% of the bar. So they make way more they would make in any place on a regular weekday, no matter what. So that's why when they come to us, it's a different vibe. They come and they play, they like jam. They're like having a good time. You know what I mean? And I think this is the right way to do it, because in what I learned in business, it always has to be win-win-win. If there's a win-lose, there's no longevity. You know, it's going to only last so long. Yeah, you're going to make more money, but for a short period of time. If it's going to be a win-win-win, has longevity, you're going to make money, everybody going to be happy, and then it's a different vibe. And I truly believe in karma and in energy. And when you're going to come and perform with energy, knowing that, oh yeah, it's going to be packed tonight, it's going to be epic, then it's a different energy. And then it's like, it's a certain energy that creates, and it comes again and again and again. And that's why people like it. When you offer someone that is a musician $300 or $500, and they're a trio or even a duo, you're like, get the fuck out of here. I'm going to be here 3 hours. This is my time, my talent, you know, my performance, and this is what you want to pay me? I know what you're making at the bar, you know? So to avoid all that bad vibe and all those, you just have to be straightforward and provide from the get-go the right percentage to the people, and then it becomes a partnership. And I think this is what counts, you know, and that's why everybody loves to play with us. I mean, nobody has you know, Mikey from the Rebel Soldiers every fucking Monday. Nobody has fucking Laupepa on Wednesdays and Puka and Hoku on Tuesdays. I mean, it doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
You have to create the right setup for the musicians to love you. And I'm 100% confident that if we would do something like this in San Diego, it would spark.
Oh,
it would be
absolutely.
like,
Yeah.
let's go.
Let's do it then.
Hell yeah.
Let's
Double
do it.
espressos for
I
everybody.
try, yeah.
You heard it here first. I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna fly over in May and just gonna check them out and gonna see, you know, what's up. And if I feel the vibe and I feel that the space is the right space. And you know what's cool about PJ? He told me, like, bro, half of my people that are in the gym, they're like baristas or bartenders. Like, it's a no-brainer.
Yep.
And then I was thinking, wait, you already have
The permits
no, forget about that. You already have the people.
Oh, yeah.
People
The
bring
staff.
people.
And
You know what
yeah,
I mean?
yeah.
If you bring your friends, your family members, your neighbors, and this guy going to bring their friends, their family members, their neighbors, and then the musician's going to bring their friends, their family members, their neighbors, you're talking about 60 people right there. Boom. Now we have a party. Now those 60 people are going to attract another 30, 40 people. Now we have 100. 100 people every night. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's party.
Yeah.
You know, that's all it takes.
Yeah. No, for real. It's like Jason can be the head of the whole music scene and everything. Like, he has his band up in San Diego. They're amazing. They have they have a culty fan base already. So yeah, they will totally show out. And like, yeah, I when PJ told me about this, I was like, fuck
Jason.
yeah.
All right, we have that. We have 2 thumbs up from Jason over here. Well, I hope that I will really be able to come over there and do it. Right now, the gallery we had to close down the gallery just because I don't like to say it, but I guess it is what it is. Priced out of paradise. We can't participate in the bidding war with the big corporations. And Ben Bridge, which is a jeweler, it's international.
They're going to take over?
They're going to take over.
Gosh.
They're going to pay $87,000 in rent.
A month?
A month. And this is not something that I was able to...
Dude, I swear it's a cover. I'm like, who the fuck buys from Ben Bridge? Like, when's the last time you have ever bought jewelry from Ben Bridge?
And you know what? It's crazy. They have 2 stores in Alamana Shopping Center. Not one, but 2 stores at Alamana Shopping Center. And now they're going to open another one in Kalakaua.
Yeah.
So when they approached the hotel and said, like, look, we're going to pay you what you're asking for, which is $30 a square foot, and the space is 2,257 square foot, plus cam and maintenance and electricity and all of that, it comes out to $87,000, which I wasn't able to pay, and I cannot commit to such, numbers. This is ridiculous. So we had to do what is good for the company, and we had to close down, and it's right now in renovations. But we're gonna reopen in a different spot where the rent is a little bit more affordable. It's gonna be on Kuhio. It's
Okay.
going to be on the corner of Kaiulani and Kuhio. It's going to be at the Ohana East Hotel. So we're right now renovating. And simultaneously, we're going to open a new spot, which calls the Secret Spot. And it's going to be at the Lelo Hotel.
Beautiful. Is it
we-
like a speakeasy?
Kind of. We just took over the restaurant called Tex 808.
Yep.
So it's going to take us about 6 to 8 weeks to get our liquor license.
Okay.
And then we're going to start back up the shows. But in the meantime, we do the shows upstairs at the Beachcomber.
Yep.
We have 7 days a week. We have entertainment. Actually, this month, we're going to have a great performance. And, next month we're going to have Hiawatha. And then in June, we're going to have Kaikena Scanlon. And we're going to have multiple art shows. And we're going to have Kekoa Kane next week on Saturday out on the pool deck. So, we're not going to give up.
Yeah.
And we're going to continue to fight. And we're going to continue to provide a platform for local artists. And we're going to continue to do what's right. And nobody can stop us.
Oh, that's
Because
awesome.
we have the community behind us. And we have what it takes to continue. So fuck the big companies. Fuck the big guys. Fuck the...
Ben Bridges of the world.
Ben Bridge.
Yeah.
Fuck Ben.
No, but I'm serious though. Like, I want to know, like, what is their clientele? Is it people that are just like, I'm going to get engaged. Like, I want to buy a nice ass expensive ring. Or is it like serial shopper? Like, who the fuck
that's actually
buys
going to
from
be a
them?
watch store, and it's going to have on the left hand side it's going to have a two-door, which is a brand, is a sister brand of Rolex, and on the right hand side they're going to have Omega, which is also high-end watches. And who buys that? I have no fucking idea. I have a
your watch.
$29 Casio watch from Amazon, baby.
G-Shock, bruh.
G-Shock. I'm telling you, it tells me the same time that they have on their Rolex.
Yeah.
Same exact time.
And if I lose this fuck, I'm not gonna cry. You know what I mean?
You're not gonna get mugged, baby.
Oh my gosh, that's wild. Yeah, I've always wanted to know, like, down this street at Ala Moana, like, who actually shops at all of these, like, retail brand, whatever, like, big, like, what the fuck?
I think it's just foreigners living it up.
Foreigners,
They
right?
come in,
Okay.
they have tons of money, they're trying to have the best experience they can. There's not much, like, I mean, you have your basic activities, I think, now, but there's not much else to do and just blow money. Tons of Chinese people spend gang money. Like, we used to
Yeah.
have this karaoke spot that I was running for a while, doing marketing and whatnot. And they would just come in by the loads and just pay whatever the price is. We'll pay it off. Not even a single issue. Not your typical Chinese here growing up. It was like, it's barter. Everything's a barter, right? Everything's about to be a deal. What deal you like? But they came and they just didn't care. They just like, yep. We're in Hawaii.
Cash, baby.
Yeah.
Cash is king.
Whew.
Yeah, but I don't know, man. I mean, there comes a time when I was in sales back in the day, like 10 years ago. I was in sales, and I wanted to look like, I drove a Range Rover. I had a Rolex. I had the whole. It doesn't mean shit. It is irrelevant. This is relevant. What you have in here is relevant. You know what I mean? Like, by the end of the day, when you sit by yourself at home and you have that great watch and your car parked outside, who the fuck cares? You know what I mean? But what you have in here, the text messages that you get, the community, the outreach, this is what matters. But I think people that don't have that need that. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. So like I'll make this story fast, but I actually said, like, in the beginning of my career, when it was like considered a big deal for me to be able to travel internationally, or to be able to like, oh my gosh, I got my first car ever that was like a new car, and I bought that after I won the belt. Or like, oh my gosh, I was able to like purchase a home as a single female, like 28-year-old, whatever, you know, like I would always post about that, because like to me that was a big deal, and it was like, I'm proud of that, like, you know, like I worked for whatever. But now at the stage of life and state of career I'm at now that to me seems like I'm flexing, and it just doesn't. I just feel fucking bad doing that shit, you know. So I'm just like, I'm not gonna fucking like flex on that shit.
When you posted
like,
that you guys bought your house, I was the happiest ever, and you inspired me. So it really depends on who is looking, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If your heart is in the right place, you're gonna be like, oh my God, she got a house. Yes, let's go. I need to do it too. She's amazing. But if you're a fucking hater, you're gonna be like, who the fuck is she like trying to flex on? Like, what the fuck? I have nothing for eat over here.
Yeah.
But you're not doing it for that reason. You're doing it to inspire, because you're happy, you want to share. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it really depends on who is on the other side.
And you know what? I actually had a long fucking post ready. It's in my drafts. I was like ready to post, and it was kind of it was in response to the backlash that I received from Maui. Because basically what happened was like, I started getting all these haters, because I'm traveling to New Zealand to go watch Jason perform or whatever, you know? So I'm getting all these fucking haters like, oh, like, look at her, she's traveling internationally, like, she must have stole the money. And I'm like, okay, once again, you motherfuckers are fucking dumb. Like, never mind the fact that I just fought and, you know, got paid for a title fight, whatever's. Or like, oh, never mind the fact that I've traveled all throughout my career. Like, I traveled before August 8th. You know, I owned my shit before August 8th. Like, I had this lifestyle before August 8th. So that doesn't mean that I'm stealing money because I'm, like, continuing with my lifestyle. But anyway, so I had this, like, long-ass post that was, like, listing, like, oh, you know, I bought my first car after this. I bought my first house after this. I did this and this and this. And then, like, I was like, now, I'm not saying this because I'm trying to flex on people. I'm not even saying this because I'm trying to motivate you guys that, like, you can achieve this too. I'm actually saying this for all the fucking haters. Yeah. And I was like, that I can do this. And, like, well, it doesn't mean that I'm stealing money. But I ended up, like, okay, I'm not going to post. I'm not going to post it just because I'm just like, just stay off Instagram. Because I know that no matter what I post, there's always going to be haters.
Always.
Yeah. I'm always going to, again, like, be fucking battling with them. Like, my ego's too big to not say something or to not address, you know, people in the comments. So I was like, just let it go.
You know what?
You know, you gotta keep an eye for the people that do love you and what they love you for.
Just focus on that.
Yeah. And then that's the ones that are, you know, speak to them.
Yep.
Because they're the ones that have seen you from the beginning to this point, that understand, can do math. You know what I mean, right? Like, who can understand math really well and be like, oh, okay, yeah, it makes sense, you know?
Yeah. And another thing too that I realize and that I need to focus on is that whenever people come up to me in public, so you know, whether it was in Maui the last time I went or at Mary Monarch even, you know, like, the people that approach me in person, they have nothing but love for me, you know, and they are like, you know, we appreciate what you did. Like, they had nothing but positive. It was a positive interaction that just made me feel so good. And I'm just like, dude, those are the messages that you have to focus on, because none of these other shit talkers or haters are ever going to come up to you in person. They are never going to have the balls to come up to you in person.
Yeah, you don't have to have. I feel like a little bit survivor's guilt. Yeah, like, because you're doing so well that you just feel kind of bad that some people aren't. But you know, fuck them. You know what I mean? Like, you worked hard for what you got. You've sacrificed. You've also gone through tons of trauma. You know what I mean? And you've dealt with all of that to be where you are and be able to speak for people, you know, and just never forget that. I know, I can tell already, you just fucking kind of stand these guys, you punch them in the face. You know what I mean? Yeah, like the fighter, and you just, like, kick somebody in their throat. But you've done a lot, and you're continuing to do a lot. And there's a lot of people that love and care about that for you. You know what I mean? you have gone through the shit ringer, bro. After watching you from the beginning, and then all the drama, that last thing was like, you can't let that touch you. You know?
Yeah.
You've gone through way worse.
Yeah.
You know?
And I just have to focus on, but like you said, like, it's so hard to not see the negative, like, fuck. But I just have to focus on that. And, like, I think what helped me get through it all was, again, my support system.
Yeah.
And, like, you know, it would, like, I just have the most incredible support system. And you just have to remember, social media is not real.
Yeah.
It's the people. But, however, with that said, like, I love my freaking followers. Like, the people who actually follow me and not the ones that just, like, don't follow me but like to, like, watch my shit and fucking send hate messages, whatever. But my followers, like, they are incredible. Mm-hmm. And so I'm just like, I love you guys. I love all of you, even if I've never met you in person. I do see your guys' messages. It does make me feel good. And, fuck everyone else.
See? Fucking the lights came on for that. Bro, the universe is spoken. You know what I mean?
I was like, oh, is it time's up? Like, that was the symbol.
That was the light from
That was the light.
Oh,
it was
this-
God listening to you.
Speak on it. Speak.
Damn. But you know what? We have a little gift for you, and it's an award that we don't give out lightly. We give only to special people, and you are one of them. And
And I'm like, why is Jason carrying a hammer right now?
he's about to knock me out with a hammer. We want to award you the Aloha Hour Hama Award.
Oh my gosh.
Because we believe you on Hama.
You're a certified hammer.
Certified Hama.
Oh man. Good thing my podcast was after Max's knockout. He was like, yeah. Otherwise, he would have got this one. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Thank you guys.
We really
my
appreciate
gosh.
you, and we're huge fans, and we're going to continue to be fans. And if you ever do decide that you want to go to politics, we will be volunteers.
You're going to be my campaign team.
Yeah.
We're going to be like waving along the road with my hammer.
Yeah. Shakas everywhere.
And I'll hold a sign with a FYFF.
Yeah.
Fuck you fucking fuckers. Fuck you fucking fuckers.
Honk, honk, yeah. Oh my gosh, this is so freaking awesome. I know the perfect place that I'm going to put it up too.
So I know it's not as unique as a belt, as a Bellator
Dude,
belt.
this is better than the belt.
It's
The
Hama.
Hama Award. Oh my gosh, thank you. I gotta get up and hug you guys. Holy smokes, that was freaking awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much, darling.
All right, and for everybody else, thank you so much for tuning in. It was episode 56.
Yes, you.
Episode 56 with Ilima-Lei Macfarlane.
Hey, wait a minute. Your birthday's around this time, huh?
Yeah, it was like April 2nd.
Happy belated.
You Aries?
Yeah.
Aries, of course I'm Aries.
I
Are you
knew this
Aries?
coming in.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Me, my wife, my sister-in-law, my two best friends.
Yes. Wait, what?
We're taking over.
But when's your birthday?
April 7th.
Oh shit! Yeah, April's Aries. See, there's
Yeah.
a difference. Oh my god.
Between March?
You're my brada. Yeah.
Okay, my wife is March 28. My sister-in-law is March 30.
Okay.
But my two other friends are April.
April Aries. Oh yes.
Let's go.
I knew I liked you. Yes.
Yes. Well, thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you very much for listening and watching us. And we're going to be back next week. All right.
Yes, you. Aloha.
Chee-hoo.
Chee-hoo.